As a bookkeeping firm owner, one of my biggest things in today's day and age, using technology and AI, is to kind of figure out how to make myself and my team more efficient in the month end and data entry process for our clients. One of the biggest and easiest areas I tackled first was the loan amortization process, as our clients send us new loans for autos and equipment and SBA loans and building loans, stuff like that. We have a standard Excel spreadsheet that creates the loan, but then you have to create a spreadsheet for each loan, save it individually into each client's folder, and it's just a little time consuming. And then on the other side of that, when you actually need to record the data, opening up each individual spreadsheet is just takes some time to accomplish that task. So I built AmortizePro to kind of speed up that process and give my team a little bit more clarity, a little bit more ease of use, and kind of centrally locate all of our client loan data into one area for ease of access and entry, tracking, stuff like that. So I wanted to use today to showcase the software features it has. We're going to go over creating a couple different types of loans. You can kind of see how that looks. Going over scenarios of editing payment amounts because things change over time, escrow, sometimes interest and principal miscalculates or something changes or a missed payment, stuff like that. And then kind of go over some additional features that I use to help, like I said, make myself and my team more efficient, and maybe it's something that will help benefit your firm as well. So when you create an account and log in, you'll be presented with the welcome dashboard. This is just going to list all of your clients and number of active loans and stuff like that. The loan amounts kind of depend on what subscription level you're using to track the stuff on there, so it's limited. So we're just going to go get into it. When you're presented the stuff, you can add a new client, client's name, enter in there, and then you can click on whatever client you want access for the day. So we've logged into 123 Building Company. This is just a sample client I created just to kind of showcase the information. So up above, a few tiles for the overall debt of the company. So this will kind of summarize all the debt that you've recorded via loan creation process. Total loans, principal, interest, total paid, and stuff like that. You'll have a tile for all the loans you've created for a client. Again, you can create as many loans as you want to for a client. You're just limited to a total amount of loans across all clients based on what subscription level you chose. And then to the right of that are the individual loan details. So this will change depending on what loan you selected. I just kind of gave it a little bit more visualization feature for the user or the client if they need to see that information. Existing loans, you can have the option to kind of view what you've created and checked off. You've got the ability to download, and this will download to Excel file for you if you need to take it offline, or just taking all the data offline and want to move it back to Excel or whatever. And if the loan's no longer viable, car wreck or sold off or whatever it is, you can always delete the loan as well. So the first scenario, let's kind of go in and talk about creating a loan, what that looks like, steps, process. So when you click on create new loan, side panel will pop out. So you can type in the loan description. Let's just say we're going to do a landscaping client. So let's just go into a ditch witch, trench digger, and its corresponding trailer. And let's just say this is financed through Wells Fargo. Call us an $18,000 piece of equipment and trailer. They did it at like 6.7% interest rate over 72 months. And then the payment amount, let's just make that $450 a month. The monthly payment is optional. If you leave that blank, the software will auto-calculate the monthly payment. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be correct, but most financing schedules provide you with what the month payment's going to be, so you're aware of that. So you just drop that in there. Then you can go to your payment frequency. So you have an option of monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, quarterly, annually. Just gave some options here. I know there's some short payday loans that you pay weekly and bi-weekly for, depending on revenue and things like that. Quarterly, annually, probably really infrequent, but if you've got investors, hard money lenders, private loans, stuff like that you pay out quarterly or annually, there's that option for you as well to do that stuff. You've got your start date. So whatever start date the loan is, for loans you're adding to AmortizePro for the first time, obviously these are going to start way in the back. So just whatever start date it is on there, just scroll back to when the loan started and select it. Deferred payment, interest only payments, and monthly escrow, we'll kind of go over a little bit more detail when we create a loan for a real estate purchase. But deferred payments, pretty self-explanatory. It's going to defer a number of payments. Interest will accrue on those payments, but it will defer a number of payments for however much you're deferring for based on the loan terms. Interest-only payments, same thing. If your initial loan was, 5 interest-only payments, and then after that everything starts at normal rate, you put in 5 interest payments and it will just record interest as the payment for that time frame. And then monthly escrow, if you got residential, commercial, real estate, stuff like that, where there's escrow being paid in for interest and taxes or whatever else is being escrowed, you can put that number in there, and that will calculate, based on, recalculate the interest and principal based on how much the monthly escrow is. So let's go ahead and just create the loan just to see what it looks like. So you got your loan schedule preview. You can kind of look through it to make sure it looks right, smells right. So it zeroes out at the bottom. We're going to hit save and return to dashboard, so you can see the new loan popped up here. All the tiles kind of refreshed with the new information. You can see the loan details right now is just zeros across the board because we haven't done anything with the loan. We can go in here and click on the schedule itself and just say this is an old schedule, or even if you're just a new schedule, if you've recorded some payments already, you just go ahead and hit save and close and go back in, and it will kind of pick up where you left off and refresh. All that information will kind of adjust accordingly, principal, interest, graph, all that stuff on there. Let's create a real estate real quick just to kind of show you what that looks like with the escrow. So let's just go with, rental home. This is Bank of America. Say you spent $350,000 on it, got a fantastic interest rate somehow over 30 years, we'll call it, and the monthly payment's going to be, I don't know, $3,500 a month type of thing. We'll just keep the payment frequency the same, start date the same. Let's just say the monthly escrow for this is going to be like $275 a month. So we'll go through and hit create loan schedule. So same process. You can see that the payment amounts here, principal, interest, and escrow. And escrow will stay the same until you adjust it. So you can save and return that. Loan tiles update. Rental home here. And you can go through and check off that you record the payment for that residential real estate. And it will record all that information. Let's go through and just show you what deferring payments or interest-only payments looks like. So let's just say you got an SBA loan through the SBA. Say you got $500,000 loan. SBA, they're generous. Let's just say 4%, and just do that over. Those usually like 15 years. Let's just say the payment amount is going to be, let's just do $5,000, just something easy. monthly payment amount or frequency and start date are going to stay the same. Let's just say the SBA lets you defer for 2 payments. And let's create that schedule so you can see that the first 2 payments are deferred. Interest is just accruing the balance. If you did have if it was deferred and no interest is accruing on that, you can always go back in and edit the interest to 0, and it will kind of readjust that stuff. Same thing if we went and just did, let's just do an SBA loan again. SBA, let's just say this is $250,000 loan at 5% for let's just do 6 years. 6 years. Let's just say this is like a $3,000 payment a month. And say they said interest only payments for the first 4. And then after that, your payment's going to start. So you create the schedule. You can see that interest only populates for the first 4 payments. No principal, just interest. Balance is staying the same. And then after your 4th payment, your 5th one starts at the normal agreed upon monthly rate. You can see that everything's kind of adjusting from that side. So let's go over what editing a schedule looks like. Mostly in the edits might come from escrow changes. Your residential commercial property gets a assessment done, or the county reassesses the property taxes, and then therefore your taxes are going up, so your escrow goes up. So let's just say you want to come in here and edit the escrow amount for the commercial building. So you can click on the little pencil icon for when the payment escrow change, and say this is going to increase to $325. And hit save. It'll redo the escrows for the remaining loan terms until it changes again to $325, and then we'll also adjust the principal and interest accordingly to reflect that new change. So you just hit save and close. Something else, just say let's go into the ditch witch, and let's just say, for instance, interest changed or something, a payment amount changes. You can change all these category columns here on a schedule. If you're a stickler about the proper and exact date the payment was made, so say 12/7 was on Saturday, so it was paid on 12/9, which is Monday, you can change the payment date and it will adjust everything else accordingly. You can change the principal amount and it will adjust, or you can change the payment amount and it'll adjust the principal and interest accordingly. Same thing if you did change the principal, say for whatever reason the principal on the schedule you're doing was actually $400, you can change that and it'll change the interest accordingly. Say just rounding issues happen sometimes on stuff, so say at year end the last ending balance was actually like $12,000. Adjust the principal payment amount to reflect what should have been, and you could just change the principal. Interest will change accordingly, and $12,000. You hit save and close, and then everything else will adjust after that accordingly. So 12,383. So that equals out to the new principal going forward, type of thing. So we can save and close that schedule. I think that's kind of it with the new features, or the features that were added to the loan schedule. Other than that, I'm going to continue to work on this to add kind of eventually some payment scenarios, maybe some integrations to QuickBooks, just kind of testing this out myself and some friends' firms just to make sure it's something that people like to use and utilize often. Get some feedback from yourselves as other users outside that's not might not be as friendly as friends and their firms and stuff like that. So I encourage you to check it out. I'll leave a link in the description, AmortizePro.com. Feel free to reach out via the support thing if there's any new features you want or issues you're having or questions you have. Hopefully this provides a little bit of more automation to your processes as well and makes life easier for you. Thanks.